Kathy, so in our interview that we had earlier about your coaching program that you have, you mentioned running energy. So what modalities are your favorite?
Yeah, so I learned a kooky process. It's access consciousness.
I've heard that.
Have you?
Yeah, I love it.
It's
quite empowering.
I have to say, it's the modality that I found is the quickest to help people unplug from the emotional charge that keeps us stuck and keep recurring those patterns in our lives. It's fascinating.
So I know the entry level into access consciousness is something called running the bars.
Yeah.
Is that what you do?
It is.
Oh, that's
so
wonderful.
I love the bars is one of the processes. We also have a whole line of body processes that I've learned as well, and depending on the individual, we'll go wherever the body requires, but a lot can happen. 90% of the work I do is just with access bars.
That's wonderful. I'll have to tell you a quick story without pulling away, but we have a black lab that actually blew out T12 and was totally paralyzed. And Kelsey and I do quite a few different modalities, but in working with someone said, use this setup phrase that comes from Access Consciousness. It was the MTVSS comment.
Yep.
Run that energy frequency. It feels very different in your hands, and it's the first time the dog stood up on her own.
Wow.
And then we just continued working with that. So I'm fascinated with the work of Gary and Dane, who are the creators, well, Gary is, of Access Consciousness. So would you mind giving us a demonstration of the bars?
I would love it.
All right, great. Well, let's go ahead and get a table out.
Okay.
All right, so Denise has volunteered to be our she's going to get a bar session here.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about bars and Access Consciousness. Since this is your energy modality of choice.
Yeah, Access Consciousness has been around for 30 years, started by Gary Douglas and now co-created with Dane here. And it is, the bars is the first step, and there's 32 points on the head that when lightly touched will activate. I always liken it to energy running through a hose that maybe has some spider webs in it.
Oh,
so
nice.
Over time in our lives, like we come in all perfect and whole and fun and joyful. You know, as a kid, you watch how joyful kids are when they play. Like, wouldn't it be fun to have a little bit of that?
I know, imagination's still running wild.
Yeah, and over time we've accumulated, judgment is a huge one, but all the thoughts and beliefs, the limitations, the hurts, the wounds, the protection, all of that is just stored up in us, and it slowly shuts down our life to where we're living a smaller portion of what's possible. And that Access has a couple different things. So there's the body processes, which is the hands-on. There's the verbal processing as well. And sometimes we just use something as simple as questions like, what else is possible, to open up a whole different reality for ourselves.
Or how does it get better than that?
How does it get better than that? That is one of our questions, isn't it? I mean, and if you just use them, it's amazing the things that can open up for you. Because wherever we've come to conclusion about something, that's it.
There's no more growth.
Yeah, there's
nowhere
you can go with that, right?
Shut down. So great. So what's the first point you start with on the head?
Well, we do a couple energy pulls. So I've already primed her body here and here. The other ones, the next one is going to be what we call the distractor implant. Now, distractor is talking about all the places that we've been implanted with other people's emotions, because ultimately we are all good hearts, all good souls walking around, and we're picking up other people's things. So think about yourself as a child when you saw your parents fighting or something. You didn't want them to carry on, so you would pick up try to pull the energy off of them.
We're all built-in little empaths, aren't we? Or you see road rage and you get yourself personally upset even though you're not in the altercation.
Yeah, it's all, truly, we have an energy field around us, and we're picking up other people's energies day in, day out. And so that's what I love about Access. You can just, it's like wiping out the whiteboard clean, you know? So now,
you're holding her occiput?
Yes, exactly.
So right here at the occiput point?
Okay, yeah, great. And this one tends to have a lot of stuff, a lot of junk, because we're just picking it up all the time. Some of the other points, the next one is always a popular one because it's just beyond, just upside of the ears. So it's money, control, and creativity. So think about all the different judgments that we have about what money is. If you're worthy of money, if money is junk.
If it's evil.
Yeah. People who have money, oh, no.
As I look at it, are we not, I don't know that you're right on it, but this is right along triple warmer as well, which has a lot to do with our anxiety and our stress, which shuts us down as well.
Exactly.
So this may be also helping to cleanse triple warmer?
Yes. Yes.
Beautiful.
And I would liken the results. People say, what can I expect after a bars session? What I find is that there's a sense of peace and calm. The mantra for Access is all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. So this peace and calm just kind of comes over like a wave. And it'll last for a couple, 3 days, where you're less in reaction mode to the things that happen. Not that things don't happen, it's just in how we respond to them. So
well, the nice thing too is when you're in that relaxed state, the body has the resources to heal rather than deal with that funnel that happens when we get into stress, right? Because then all I care about is body and environment, right? I'm in survival.
Exactly.
And so my digestion shuts down, my reproductive system shuts down, and you start to exhibit disease. Autoimmune disorders come into play.
Yeah, we
So
are
you're
soul
really
sisters.
clear.
I couldn't have explained it better myself. It's exactly, they're integral.
Beautiful.
I don't believe that we can heal the body without going. In fact, there's going to be more and more science you'll see coming out saying that emotions are 80% of what's happening as the manifestation of our health. So the next 3 that I'm just touching here are creativity, creating life forms, and creating connections.
So it's a 3-finger touch.
Yes. And then we'll go, there's different ones. I always call these ones the peace, love, and happiness. Don't tell Gary because that's not the real name.
But this is where I notice that you're holding both, so you're getting balance across both hemispheres of the brain at the same time.
Exactly. And that's one of the ones. Here's another super great one. So joy and sadness, healing and sexuality. And at the same time, we're using both thumbs and opening that passageway. There's a bridge that goes between the 2 hemispheres. And oftentimes, and I believe the way we limit our lives is that we live so much in that stress and reaction that we're in the right brain, so right brain, left brain, so
Left brain.
much trying to make things happen, that struggle, the strife, the pushing, trying to figure it out. When we can open up to the magic of the universe and use that creative side, what else is possible? How does it get better?
So you're tying in from the corpus callosum, which ties the brain together. And then if you do anything with Eden energy medicine, if I just hold here, I bring blood back to the forebrain and I bring in a more calm, I wouldn't call it controlled, but the ability to think and process without being panic reaction.
Right. So it's like the opposite of addiction, right?
Yeah.
We're bringing energy and blood flow right back to the prefrontal cortex.
Very nice. And it's all done with touch. And I think touch is so important.
Yeah, and here's a good one. People love this one because they call it the aging toaster.
Okay, I'll take a little aging toast.
Yeah.
So is this something to bring back that sense of youth and vitality?
It is. And
you're hooking up the parietal lobe here.
Yes.
Okay.
And think of all the judgments we have about what it means to age. And to me, I want to tap into that youthful just zest for life always. And, all the ways we've judged joy right out of our being, right? It's not appropriate to act goofy, as a 50-year-old or 60-year-old.
Dance around when you embarrass your children when you
I
embarrass
think
your
this is the
servant.
time when we can claim, hey, now's the time, right?
Right.
If not now, then when?
Right.
But yeah, it's pretty potent stuff. And again, we've got all kinds of different body processes that go along with this that complement it. You mentioned MTVSS, which is tapping into multivariate synchronous systems that allow the body to regenerate. Another one that we use oftentimes, cellular regeneration. We'll just call, because the body's got a consciousness of its own. If you think about, the body really desires to be well, and it's an attunement. So we can use some of the verbal processing, and it actually will attune the body. So let's see, zero-sum trauma is another one. You mentioned the trauma that your dog had cellular memory, and those 3 are such a powerful thing.
Right.
But
It gives us a sense of the power of the thought and communicating at the unconscious level, right? So you're communicating with that inner physician, in effect, by using touch. And ambiguous touch and ambiguous words are very trancy, right? Which drops me into a healing state.
Right.
And then you're holding an intention out of your training that holds a space for your client.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
This would go into part of the body process, and it would be activating the thymus. The thymus being responsible for a lot of immune system.
All your T cells get birthed there.
It just gets turned off in the day-to-day life.
Yeah.
So just by turning this back on, you can see a lot of shift.
Yeah.
But,
tapping the thymus as well is a technique that we teach people that if you're starting to feel down with something, but what a wonderful thing if you're going to you as an energy practitioner to know that this is being boosted.
Yeah.
This is really a life center.
And speaking of boosting, we actually have a facelift process.
Oh, facelift, that would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's all kinds of possibilities.
Yeah. Are you working with the lymphatic system when you do the facelift piece?
A bit.
Is that soft touch?
I'm not exactly sure what's behind it all, but I just know, boy, when you get it's some of the most relaxing work that you've ever felt. In Access, we say that at very worst, you'll feel like you had a really great massage, and at the very best, your whole life will change.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is really nice.
So, and again, the mantra being all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory.
And that's a wonderful thing for anyone to bring into their life. When you're doing a session then with a client, they come to see you as their wellness coach, and you go, yep, well, this is one of the things we're going to say. Great. Is this an hour-long session?
It is an hour long, sometimes a little bit more, depending on where the person is. Oftentimes they're laying on the table like this, and we'll be chatting. So they'll talk about just different things that seem to be getting them,
Which is a way of cathartic release as well.
Yeah.
Because
so
you're going to help turn that around, correct?
Yeah, and we'll run the processes, but there's also the clearing statement, which is, I'm not going to go into that because it sounds a little goofy, but
no, I understand.
But people, there's actually a website called theclearingstatement.com, and you can use just an abbreviated statement of it, of POD-POC, meaning all the points of creation where limiting thoughts were created. And like we were talking about earlier, it might have been even before you were born.
That's right.
So me as an unwanted child, I had a whole lot of issues around being worthy or feeling wanted or feeling
didn't even know where they came from.
Yeah, and it's those core needs of human dynamics that, and who among us on this world, I just think somebody's thrown this crazy unworthiness net over all of the.
And we're little sponges.
Exactly.
And then it gloms onto who
exactly. So it's truly just a phenomenal gift to be able to cleanse your energetic body this way and know that you can attune, then get to the space of being able to choose what truly works for you.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating. It truly is fascinating. So this is another one of my favorites because it talks in terms of hopes and dreams and then form instruction.
So you're working
structure.
To me, it looks like you're over the amygdala, which is where we process fear, right? And some of those negative emotions. And if I can clear that space out, anything that's stuck in there, it's a beautiful thing.
And just think of how many times we've had dreams that we've logically decided weren't practical, it wasn't time, this isn't going to work for us.
I'm afraid I can fail, I might look silly.
Yeah, so this just clears out, and then you can choose.
Nice. Now, in the hour session, are you going to work predominantly here in the head? I noticed you did the chest. Do you do any work in the lower body?
Yeah, depending on what people are experiencing. I've had people who had traumas in their legs, and sometimes it's from this lifetime, sometimes
picked it up somewhere, right?
Somewhere in time. Yeah. So that's the other thing, is that we can clear from many different dimensions, other lifetimes, other people. Oftentimes it's, what I find most is that it's from things that we picked up from other people.
Mm-hmm. It is. Yep. It's amazing how fast we pick up other people's stories and traumas and emotions. Yeah. And we don't even know we did it.
Right.
You're just this open field. So it's wonderful. So this is a great way to get someone. Would you normally offer this as a way to start as one of your clients if they're kind of open to energy work? Because to me, this would be a great way to get them framed and ready for the new messaging, for the new choices in life.
Yeah. It's
less
kind of funny because
required.
when I started the wellness coaching, I thought that people would go for more the traditional kind of thing. But once they hear about this, it's just something that either it really draws people in. They're really attracted to it because I think their bodies are wanting it. They want to feel good. And literally it takes off all that, as you said, the angst that we're carrying around that we don't even realize how much we've accumulated over time, because it's just like, the frog boiling in the pot. It doesn't happen overnight. We carry it and accumulate it slowly over time until now we've got this big old wad.
Yes. It's nice to be rid of the wad and feel that sense of freedom.
Yeah. So how's that for a tagline?
I like that.
I'm not going to go there.
Well, before we wrap up, are there any other points you'd like to show?
A good one is what we call the restructuring, which is all about, I call it the super glue. So all the, rather than having the session be like a rubber band where we stretched it out to new possibilities and have it come back, contract back to where it was, this to me is like the super glue that keeps it. And this is a great one for other modalities. So I saw the Reiki practitioner or a chiropractor who's done some work, and they want to make sure that the body doesn't retract.
Right.
This is a good one to know. And then it ends, we do a little bit of opening here. And then ultimately we pull the tunnels of time and space, opening up. What if you had possibilities from all different times in space dimension,
Yes.
rather than just where we are here, and then opening up this crown chakra to receive all the inspiration
You can
that's
see the smile on
available
her
to us
face
all the
already.
time. I've been trying to get Denise for a long time, so thanks for helping me touch her.
We didn't have any trouble getting her on the table. All right, thank you. That was beautiful. So if you would love to see Kathy for either wellness coaching and or a bar session,
Yeah.
if you want to dabble a bit,
Yeah.
you could come to you for a bar session.
Come
alone.
try it out. We can
Give
you
it a
can
try.
just do one-off sessions, but it's a beautiful way to tee up some new possibilities for your life.
Yeah, and find out what it's all about. So thanks, Kathy, and you can find her information below.